An Instagram page called Sveriges Cesare shared a peculiar clip taken from a home surveillance system, recorded on August 23, 2021, at an unspecified location. The homeowner had received a notification alerting them that movement was detected outside their residence, and this is what appeared on the screen. A gaunt, fragile-looking figure could be seen moving awkwardly across the yard. Their arms and legs looked extremely thin, and their posture appeared unnatural. Most viewers assumed it was likely an individual under the influence of drugs wandering onto the property, and many commented that the homeowner should have contacted law enforcement immediately. There's no public information about whether the person who posted the footage ever reached out to authorities. Still, the situation left many people uneasy. What would your reaction be if something like this showed up on your security camera in the dead of night? Share your thoughts below. The following clip, shared on TikTok by the user MadRFCKRS, has unsettled quite a few viewers. It was reportedly filmed somewhere in the Philippines, though almost no other details about the recording have been confirmed. The footage shows a strange figure moving across the rooftop. Night has fallen, and the camera struggles to pick up the scene, yet even with limited light, the creature is still visible. It looks vaguely human in shape. Its eyes seem to shine in the darkness, most likely catching and reflecting the light coming from the device, and its skin appears gray as it crawls on all fours. Despite how unnerving it looks, some commenters suggested it could simply be an unclothed person climbing around on the roof. But even if that assumption is correct, the situation remains just as disturbing. If you had to choose, which would be the less frightening option, an unidentified creature lurking above your home, or a nude stranger with unknown motives? Share your thoughts below. Remote mountain region of Japan. Here's what the camera captured. The footage is brief, but it shows what looks like a tiny dragon-like creature moving through a stream. Although most viewers assume the video is nothing more than a staged hoax, it does raise an interesting point. Cultures across the world have included dragons in their mythology for thousands of years. Civilizations separated by vast distances all developed their own versions of these creatures. In medieval Europe, dragons were depicted as giant, winged, fire-breathing beasts defeated by heroes on perilous quests. In ancient China, however, dragons were seen as powerful beings that governed the elements and protected both heaven and earth. Why did so many ancient societies believe such creatures were real? Could these stories all trace back to something tangible? Adrian Mayer, a Stanford University professor, has suggested that fossilized dinosaur remains may have inspired tales of dragons and similar legendary creatures such as griffins. Early communities likely stumbled upon dinosaur bones, and from there, oral traditions and written stories continued to pass the myths down through generations. So, even if this short modern clip is almost certainly fabricated, it's fascinating to see how new forms of media can continue spreading age-old legends around the globe today. When a YouTuber known for capturing unusual moments on camera began hearing odd sounds around his home, he decided to look into it. With only his camera for light, he cautiously followed the noises back to their source.
You hear that? Listen. Since I've been back, most nights I've been hearing noises in my attic, and tonight the noises have been the worst.
The recording opens as he notices the sounds coming from the attic above him. He explains that since returning home, he has heard these disturbances most nights, and on this particular evening, they were at their worst. In the video's description, he mentions he suspects some kind of animal or unknown creature may have started living in his house. His voice makes it clear that he's genuinely unsettled.
You hear that? I haven't been hearing the noises outside as much, and you hear that? Listen.
Despite being hesitant, he keeps searching, hoping to document whatever is making the strange sounds. Even his cat appears uneasy as the noise continues overhead.
In there yet? Kitty, what are you doing? Cat never goes up there unless it's freaked out. Kitty, what are you doing?
Eventually, he climbs into the attic, relying solely on the camera's light to navigate the cramped space.
Hello? Hello?
A sudden, sharp sound erupts in the darkness, startling him. Trying to reassure himself,
I think it's just a raccoon.
he mutters that it might just be a raccoon while slowly sweeping the camera across the area in hopes of spotting the source of the disturbance. As the lens passes a shadowed corner, something disturbing becomes visible. A pale shape appears to blend into the cluttered surroundings, with almost no identifiable facial features on its washed-out skin. Viewers later commented that the figure resembled an alien or possibly some sort of malformed creature. While those interpretations are possible, the footage doesn't offer a definitive answer. It could have been nothing more than debris arranged in a way that resembled something sinister. Though that explanation doesn't account for the chilling noises. Whatever was up there, its presence likely left the homeowner far too frightened to go back for another look. TikTok creator Cryptid Chronicles shared a video featuring a vacationer enjoying their day at a ski resort in the United States. While filming, the person noticed a crowd of skiers and snowboarders gathered near the edge of the forest, staring toward the trees. The video shows a faint outline of a tall, human-shaped figure standing among the foliage. According to the uploader, the creature appeared to be somewhere between 8 and 10 feet in height. As the person behind the camera zooms in, the figure barely moves but seems to be doing something with its hands, as though interacting with an unseen object. Legends of giant ape-like beings have existed in cultures across the globe for centuries. In the U.S., names like Sasquatch and Bigfoot are the most widely recognized, and new reports surface every year. Some researchers and cryptid enthusiasts speculate that distant human relatives or ancient primate species might have survived far longer than science currently acknowledges. They argue that such creatures could be intelligent enough to avoid detection. Still, if beings like this are truly living deep in remote wilderness areas, many believe it's only a matter of time before more definitive proof is documented. Chris is the creator behind the well-known urban exploration channel Urbex Hill, where he regularly shares videos of himself investigating abandoned locations around the world that many claim are haunted. His uploads have featured everything from old schools and churches to graveyards, and in this particular case, the former St. Joseph Riverside Hospital in Warren, Ohio. Constructed in the early 1960s, St. Joseph Riverside Hospital operated successfully for decades, but by 1996, it was closed after HM Health Services took over Warren General Hospital. In 2003, the property was bought by Jim and Tom Dobson, who repurposed it for several ventures, including a private school. Eventually, financial issues forced the site to shutter once again, and it has remained completely abandoned ever since. Throughout the video, Chris moves through the deteriorating building, checking out room after room. All of which show clear signs of decay. Everything seems relatively uneventful until he reaches the 8-minute mark. Viewers are encouraged to watch closely, especially the doorway on the left side of the frame. A dark, shadowy hand briefly extends outward. The appearance of the hand has startled countless viewers, sparking debates about whether the figure belonged to a person, a spirit, or possibly something stranger. The most common theory is that it might have been a homeless individual hiding inside the building. But if that were the case, how did Chris fail to notice any movement or sound during his exploration? There's no confirmed explanation, but regardless of what the figure was, the footage remains deeply unsettling. A few months back, we covered a chilling TikTok posted by a user named Old Fogey John, which appeared to show a strange figure lurking around his backyard. The same account has since uploaded another clip that's equally unsettling. According to the uploader, he recently started noticing odd holes forming in his garage door. Curious and concerned, he reviewed his overnight security footage to figure out what was causing the damage. What he discovered left him shocked. The video shows a strange figure seemingly breaking pieces off the garage door. It looks very similar to the entity seen in the earlier TikTok we featured. Even now, the uploader has no explanation. He still can't determine whether the figure is a person, an animal, or something entirely different. As usual, I'll pass the question on to you. What do you think this could be? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. When geneticist Neil Gemmell launched his research mission at Loch Ness, he likely wasn't expecting to uncover anything unusual. Yet he found himself surprised when he reviewed the final portion of his underwater recordings. While he didn't capture evidence of the legendary prehistoric plesiosaur said to inhabit the Scottish lake, he did come across something unexpectedly intriguing. The short clip begins with a fish slowly moving toward the camera. At first, the moment appears completely ordinary, but soon it becomes obvious that the fish is actually trying to swim away from something behind it. Watch closely. An elongated tentacle-like or eel-shaped form drifts across the background. According to Gemmell, findings like this support the theory that the creature known as Nessie could be a large eel rather than a surviving dinosaur. He believes that for the legend to have lasted this long, there would likely need to be multiple oversized eels living in the depths of the lake. Although Loch Ness monster stories can be traced back to accounts from Irish missionaries in the 6th century, the modern depiction of the creature largely emerged in the 1930s through reports from Scottish journalists. The famous surgeon's photo, taken in 1938, appeared to show a large creature rising from the water. Decades later, the image was exposed as a hoax involving a toy submarine. Still, the photo sparked worldwide fascination, and crowds continue to visit Loch Ness hoping to see the creature for themselves. If there truly is a hidden population of enormous unidentified eels living deep below, then the questions remain. Where did they originate? And how have they managed to stay undetected for so long? The next case involves unusual footage recorded in Paraguay and later uploaded to YouTube by a channel called The Rocket 3. A mother was filming her young son when she unintentionally captured something unsettling moving in the background. As the camera shifts slightly,
¿Qué es lo que vos estabas haciendo recién? Decime, ¿eh?
A strange figure appears behind one of the trees.
¿Qué es lo que vos estabas haciendo recién? Decime, ¿eh?
Positioned just far enough away to make its shape hard to identify. When the clip is paused and enlarged, a long, thin limb seems to extend outward from behind the tree trunk. Two nearby dogs immediately react to the presence of something hidden in the brush, clearly aware that there is movement where there shouldn't be any.
Tengo sueño. ¿Quién te enseña a hacer esas cosas? ¿Quién te enseña a hacer esas cosas?
¿Dónde?
Their behavior adds another layer of unease to the already odd recording. Viewers who came across the video were quickly disturbed by what they saw, and as the views climbed, hundreds of people began offering their own interpretations. Some insisted the figure resembled an extraterrestrial being, while others were convinced it had to be a cryptid. One of the most common suggestions was the pombero, a creature rooted in Argentine and Paraguayan folklore. It's typically described as a small, hairy, human-like being that roams wooded areas, steals chickens, and plays tricks on people. Legends claim it hides personal belongings, mimics strange noises in the dark, and sometimes lures children using berries or small treats before pulling them deeper into the forest. Others pushed for a far more grounded explanation. They suggested the figure might simply be a sloth, specifically the brown-throated three-toed sloth that naturally inhabits regions across Brazil, Paraguay, and Ecuador. With so many conflicting theories,
¿Eh?
the clip remains one of those strange pieces of footage that refuses to settle into one clear category. Whether it shows an alien, a woodland cryptid, or just a harmless sloth wandering close to a home, it continues to spark debate among those who watch it. What do you think the mysterious figure really was?
Decime, ¿eh?
Continuing with strange creature sightings, this next example is almost certainly not the result of CGI. It was shared in the Facebook group Weird, Fantastic, and Odd Things by Max Jack. The unusual snake was discovered in Thailand by a local resident who took it home and fed it fish. The reptile appears to be covered in green, fur-like growth. Some commenters speculated that it could simply be algae forming on the snake's body. The individual who found the creature plans to turn it over to authorities so it can be properly examined and identified. Until experts take a closer look, all we can do is appreciate just how unusual this animal really is. There are countless animals on Earth that most people will never see up close, and likely many more that no one has ever encountered. But what are the chances that one of them would turn up right in the middle of a sidewalk? That's the question many have been asking since a strange photo and short video began circulating online. The image was originally shared on Instagram by a man named Harry Hayes. Who came across the creature while out for a morning run in Sydney, Australia. Although the region had experienced heavy rainfall and localized flooding, Hayes said the spot where he discovered the animal hadn't been underwater at all. The creature itself is small, slimy in appearance, and gray with what looks like semi-transparent skin. It appears to have tiny black eyes and a long tail. In the still image, its body is curled in a way that makes its exact shape difficult to determine. This has led many to speculate that it might be some type of fetus, possibly from a marine animal that washed inland during the storms. However, Scientists who examined the photo and video clip haven't been able to identify it. Biologist Ellie Alyssa, who also shared the images on Instagram, admitted she had no explanation for what it could be, and even her colleagues were unable to recognize the species. So what exactly is this thing? A cryptid, a mutation, or something else entirely? For now, this odd little creature remains completely unidentified. This next segment is a compilation of multiple clips filmed by fishermen and TikTok user source, documenting a series of unsettling events that occurred while he was out at sea. The compilation was later shared on the platform by user Alexander Dodgson. It begins with an unusual, high-pitched sound echoing across the water.
I hear him. Where's he at? What the f is that noise, bro? What is that noise?
The fisherman is clearly confused, struggling to figure out where the noise is coming from. At one point, he even suggests that the sound resembles a voice telling someone to jump, adding to the disturbing nature of the situation. He eventually retreats to his cabin, only to hear another strange noise, this time sounding like something striking the outside walls of the boat. When he steps out to investigate, no one is there. Instead, he captures something unusual on camera, a dark shape gliding through the water beside his vessel.
We got another one.
Moments later, a second one appears on the opposite side. Both objects keep pace with the moving boat, but their identities remain unclear. In the following clip, the fisherman displays a peculiar bone he claims to have pulled up in a dredge.
That looks like a tail to me.
Believing it resembles a tail, he brings it to the marine biology department at the University of Massachusetts for examination. After inspecting it, the expert is unable to identify the species it came from, noting that they have never seen anything like it.
Absolutely. You've never seen anything like this?
I don't know what it is.
That's crazy.
Several viewers believe the fisherman may have encountered mermaids, also known as sirens. These mythical beings are associated with high-pitched calls, and the mysterious figures swimming by the boat along with the strange bone seem to support that theory. Although sirens were originally portrayed as bird-like creatures in Greek mythology, they were often described as having a human upper body and a fish's tail. Their voices were said to lure sailors into the ocean, as famously depicted in Homer's Odyssey, where Odysseus had himself tied to the mast to resist their call. So could this footage be evidence of such legendary beings? And if so, was something truly attempting to draw the fishermen into the water? The situation is still unfolding, and the TikToker behind these recordings has uploaded many more strange clips from his time at sea. TikTok user Sergio Luis Reis was enjoying a warm summer afternoon on a beach in Brazil when something unexpected cut the moment short, a bizarre jellyfish-like creature that looked as if it came from another world. The odd animal, with a swollen dome-shaped head and long trailing tentacles, drifted close to the surface of the shallow water just a short distance from where he was standing.
Alienígena, velho.
Like most people today, he quickly pulled out his phone to record the strange sight and share it online. Although the creature simply hovered near the surface throughout the short clip, its appearance was undeniably unsettling. While countless jellyfish species inhabit the world's oceans, the larger types normally avoid shallow coastal areas. At this point, no well-known marine biologists have publicly addressed the footage. One possibility is that the creature was a sick or injured jellyfish that had become disoriented, which might explain its slow movement and unusual look. However, it doesn't seem to closely resemble any currently known jellyfish species. So what exactly did Sergio Luis Reis encounter? Was it an entirely new species, or just an oddly shaped, struggling jellyfish? And if it really was a familiar species, why was it lingering so close to shore? Furthermore, Why haven't similar creatures been reported along Brazil's long coastline? In November 2021, a resident of Oregon was driving along a quiet country road at night with their grandchildren when they noticed something unsettling near the roadside. They later shared the odd clip on their TikTok profile, Carolyn Ann 1984, for others to witness.
What'd you see?
What is that?
What? It's behind that.
Diana, what is that?
A dark, indistinct figure appeared to be positioned behind a tree just off the road.
Diana, what is that?
The person recording had no idea what they were seeing, and understandably chose not to get any closer to investigate.
It's behind that tree.
Once the video was posted, it spread rapidly, gathering millions of views and thousands of comments from viewers trying to make sense of the eerie figure. Suggestions ranged widely. Some believed it was a Sasquatch.
What is that?
Others claimed it might be a skinwalker, a shadowy entity, or simply a disturbing individual standing in a hooded sweatshirt. Given that the uploader had young children with them during the encounter, none of these possibilities were particularly comforting. One of the most frequently mentioned explanations was a hide-behind. Hide-behinds are creatures from North American folklore, with stories from early settlers describing loggers disappearing deep in the woods. When woodcutters failed to return, locals blamed hide-behinds for the vanishings. These beings were said to be nocturnal and able to mask themselves behind almost any object. Legends claim they hunt humans and primarily consume internal organs. The Oregon video matches several elements of the hide-behind legend, leading many to wonder whether this could be one of the first genuine pieces of evidence suggesting such legendary cryptids might be more than stories.
Diana, what is that?
That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.